Is it dementia, Alzheimer's, a manic episode, or a distraction? Let's talk about it. There are all sorts of reports circulating on social media that say Donald Trump blasted over 400 posts on Truth Social in less than an hour. But I will say at this point, that number, that 400 number in an hour, it's just coming from user counts and commentary rather than confirmed metrics from any platforms or any major outlets. What is well documented, though, is that he engaged in unusually intense late night posting spree. In a late night posting spree, with reports of hundreds of posts and reposts over a few hours, including around 100 posts in a single hour. Yeah. You know, the internet watchers, people who are up late in the midnight hour observing what's going on. There were several observers who captured or described a burst of activity where Donald Trump or whoever is controlling his account was posting or reposting on Truth Social at a rate of roughly one item every 10 seconds, leading some to estimate that's how they got that 400 number within an hour. Reddit users and other commentators shared screenshots and page captures showing long, rapidly updating timelines from his account and characterized the volume as around 400 posts in just a couple of hours. I haven't seen any reporting on it from independent news media or mainstream news media, but the reports are that mainstream write-ups and political newsletters describe the incident more conservatively as hundreds of posts. That's still a bunch of posts to me. And those hundreds of posts were over a multi-hour window. There's no specific time, with at least one recounting about 150 to 160 posts between roughly 7 p.m. and midnight, and noting that roughly 100 of those came in the final hour of that stretch. None of the major outlets, none of the major outlets are really talking about it. It's independent news media that's talking about it, but mainstream news media has more than fallen short when it comes to talking about how mentally incapacitated this president is. They don't talk about his outbursts. They don't talk about a lot of the medical issues that we see over here on the independent news media site. Yeah, they don't talk about that in their reporting on mainstream news media. So, yeah. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Is it dementia? Is it Alzheimer's? Is it a manic episode? Is it a distraction? You don't want us talking about that MRI that mainstream news media is finally starting to ask for the results from. He don't want to talk about that. And I guarantee you he's trying to distract from that big news story about how Pete Hegseth has been murdering people on fishing boats over there in Venezuela. The double tap, they called it. Yeah, they don't want to talk about that. In fact, they're trying to blame it on someone else. This guy, Vice Admiral Bradley, they're trying to make him the fall guy for what Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth is doing over there at the Department of Defense. Remember when Admiral Halsey said, "I'm out of here"? He tendered his resignation. He saw this coming. And he knew, as the black man, if he would have stayed, they would have made him the fall guy. And so he resigned. Shout out to Admiral Halsey. Yeah, he won't be any part of Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth's mess. But I do hope that Vice Admiral Bradley has a good attorney, because this is what Caroline Leavitt said in that press conference on yesterday.
I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
Admiral Bradley's name was mentioned twice in that little statement. I hope he got a good lawyer. Yep, I hope he got a good lawyer, because there's a Republican senator or House representative that has already called for investigations into Pete Hegseth and the Department of Defense and what is going on with these murders of the people on these fishing boats down in Venezuela. And yeah, this is what Mark Kelly, one of the other senators, he had to let Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth know a thing or two.
I will not be intimidated by this president. I am not going to be silenced by this president or the people around him, because I've given too much in service to this country to back down to this guy. In 1991, when Donald Trump was driving the Taj Mahal casino into bankruptcy, I was getting shot at over Iraq and Kuwait.
Let him know.
In 2001, after Donald Trump said that the collapse of the Twin Towers meant he now owned the tallest skyscraper in Manhattan,
I remember that.
I was carrying flags honoring 9/11 victims into space on a rocket ship. In 2003, when Donald Trump was writing birthday greetings to the monster Jeffrey Epstein, I was the first on the scene to recover the bodies of my fellow astronauts who died when Space Shuttle Columbia exploded during re-entry. In 2011, when Trump was hosting a reality show and peddling conspiracy theories against President Barack Obama, I was sitting next to my wife's hospital bed as she recovered from a gunshot wound to the head. My point is this: I've been through a lot worse in service to my country. The president and Pete Hegseth are not going to silence me.
Mark Kelly had to let him know. You are this type of person. I'm this type of person. We are not the same. He went on to say this.
He runs around on a stage like he's a 12-year-old playing Army. And it is ridiculous. It is embarrassing. And I can't imagine what our allies think of looking at that guy in this job, one of the most important jobs in our country. In my view, after the President of the United States, it is the next most important job. He is in the National Command Authority for Nuclear Weapons. And last night, he's putting out on the internet turtles with rocket-propelled grenades. Have you seen this? This is the Secretary of Defense. This is not a serious person. He should have been fired after Signalgate.
Yep.
And then every single day.
If you couldn't tell or pick up on it, he was talking about Pete Hegseth in that last clip. And this is the image that he's talking about that Pete Hegseth put out there on Twitter. And he captioned it, "For your Christmas wish list." They're murdering people. They don't know if those people are trying to bring drugs into the United States. They have no clue at what those people are doing. They have no clue. Those people could be innocent. Everybody is categorizing those boats as fishing boats. Those people are going out to fish. And that's how he responds to this fiasco. The Secretary of Defense. Poor Franklin's people had to come out in response to the imagery that they're using. Franklin's people said, "Franklin the Turtle is a beloved Canadian icon who has inspired generations of children and stands for kindness, empathy, and inclusivity. We strongly condemn any denigrating, violent, or unauthorized use of Franklin's name or image which directly contradicts these values." These are the people that you all stood silently by and allowed into power. Now, a lot of people are talking about how embarrassed they are. I'm not embarrassed because Donald Trump doesn't represent me. He doesn't represent me, not one bit. I didn't vote for him. I'm just going to sit here and see what color the wall is going to be next. And I'm going to come in and tell y'all about it. It's all the white people are fuming. They are embarrassed. And I just don't understand. We told you he was incompetent. We told you he was a buffoon. We told you that it was going to be a chaotic presidency. We told you it was going to be a hot mess. We told you they were going to implement Project 2025. We told you they were going to put in steps to minimize women in the workplace. We told you they want you barefoot and pregnant, and they will implement policy to do that. We told you all of this. We told you that they want this society to be a Christian Republican dominated white nationalist society. We told you that. We told you that. We told you that the man wasn't smart. We told you that all he was going to be looking out for was retribution. We told you all of this. We told you all of this was going to happen. And here we are. He's a representation of y'all. Listen, if you are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd be happy to have you. There's more coming, and I'll be right here to tell y'all about it. Okay? Okay.